Yeah, I'm glad you directed me to this. Yeah, I mean, this kind of thing has to stop, and I would, and there are the people who further it. Right. I mean, they're young people in this case. To hear it said by someone who's like so like I mean, the show it's the kind of show where they have people on who are interested in certain kinds of ideas that have nothing to do with reality. But here's the thing: like this young woman who's being interviewed, like she's like, yeah, my generation doesn't we were looking for political. Seeking out what we want to support politically, and she's like, right. I realize now, like from talking to people or whatever, that I'm a libertarian. Something like the fact that this rhetoric is getting passed down. First of all, whoever's talking about that stuff, to the degree that they think they know what the word means. I mean, even to start, like, have they even read what? Are they aware of the books on it? But the books on it are all abstract. But I'm not clear that people who use the term of like Red Murray Rothbard or anything. But wait a minute, they're referring to something that's actually taken place, and we've seen its results. They're actually the result is genocide. In other words, it's no longer. This isn't the 1960s. I mean, it's no longer an idea that's interesting to think about, like libertarianism. No, that sort of the concept of American libertarianism was actually put into place. Um, it was formulated. It was deployed in a laboratory in. I mean, that's the idea they're talking about. It's been deployed everywhere, and the result is like mass death. One case they started burning the country to the ground. I mean, it's not something anyone should refer to anymore. This American libertarian thing in the '60s, before the neoliberal project, like it was idea people were kicking around that sort of was like real abstract, didn't make a whole lot of sense, but like people did write about it. And like they were, and people who were interested in like Ayn Rand's novels and stuff. But no, 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 no. In this era, when we actually found out what happens, that Chomsky was right. He said if you could ever what he said about libertarianism in the '60s turned out to be correct. He said and I'll repeat it again. He said if you could ever get a society to function on those kind of economic principles without completely collapsing, it would be a society so filled with hatred on all sides that you'd want to kill yourself. He said that before the neoliberal project got going, before it was like formally designed and tried out. Right, it turns into one, it's genocidal. Two, the place completely collapses, and people are desperate. In one case, like they burn the country down. It's what we're trying to stop. They got to stop telling people about that because it does involve things like privatizing the economy. It was that young people are unaware. You'd have to that's actually already been tried. It's genocidal to the extent that the word means something in America. I don't think you read Murray Rothbard, but that doesn't. That's sort of abstract and like has no practical application except when it's tried, and it's actually a form of genocide. I wish people would stop using that term. American libertarianism, by the way, is not. There is such a thing called libertarian socialism, which is really interesting to read about. People should consider reading about that. They're not interested. They're just using the term libertarian, and it involves things like privatization of economies. You talk to the people in Chile who lived through the terror of that, and they'll look at you like you're insane or sick in the mind if you say such a thing would work. It was tried out on them. They're, number one, they killed. The death toll on such a thing is, and the way in which the society collapses is really horrific. I wish they'd stop telling people that using that word means something that might actually work. But that's what they mean. That's what they're referring to. Like if you ask a young woman, like, what did her friends on campus are like into this thing called libertarianism, she would say, well, I don't know much about it. She'd probably say, well, it has to do with privatizing things and this and that and open markets. Right? She's unaware of the fact that if you get not being told innocently, saying that sounds like it would work. No, no, no. It's a form of genocide. They already tried it, and what we're trying to do is stop it. And so is the rest of the world. It doesn't. That actually isn't real. It was just an idea. It was put into practice by the Chicago School of Economics. It was tried out in a laboratory by using a whole country as a laboratory, and it's a form of genocide, and it's also creating mass poverty in places that are rich countries.